Hey guys, it's time for Firefight 3, played solo again, and we're looking at the meat grinder, Battle of the Tenaru, or Battle of Alligator Creek. And essentially what we've got here is Colonel Ichiki leading a storming party of Japanese, predominantly infantry, backed up with some mortar and some grenade discharger units, storming across the river at a force of Marines that is much larger than they expected, and I think he came across with about 100 men or so, and took heavy casualties from the Marines, and yet still managed to overrun some of the frontal Marine positions. So we're going to replay this firefight. So the Japanese have got infantry, as I said, some mortar support and some grenade discharges. Whereas the Marines are a bit better tooled up in this scenario. They've got infantry, obviously, and they've got heavy machine guns, medium machine guns, mortars, 2 anti-tank guns. They don't perform too well against infantry, but that's interesting. And they're quite well entrenched as well. And also they will have a aerial attack capability of some F-14s coming in and doing some damage, and they can lay down some artillery fire each round as well, and so their reinforcements are quite strong. But then you've got a ton more Japanese coming in as well, and we'll see if these Stuart tanks get into the action to see how they fare in jungle warfare. The Japanese have the swift capability, I think, if the Bushido is in the positive. And looking over here, their Bushido starts at 0, but then if they get into the positive, they will get the swift capability. Let me just double check that for you guys. Yeah, positive Bushido bonus. All Japanese units receive the capability card. So that's Firefight 3. That's the setup. There's a machine gun here, which has got a pretty good field of fire across this open expanse here. Let's play it and see how it goes. This is the situation at the end of the first round, and the Japanese have done very well, unfortunately for the Marines. And the Japs were assisted by drawing a rapid deployment as their first card, which allowed them to move a friendly unit or group of units 2 hexes over passable terrain, which I believe included the river. So after sneaking up towards the river edge, they used that card and got a lot of units across. In the subsequent combat, they've taken out this bunker here, and they've assaulted this bunker here from the rear. This machine gun out here actually did some damage over here. No, sorry, it was this mortar over here that actually damaged this Marine unit in this bunker here. This mortar here knocked out the heavy machine gun here. The mortar fire was extremely accurate and dangerous, unfortunately, whereas my mortar fire, which is weaker, did nothing. They've got an assault going in here on this bunker here with 2 units assaulting that bunker at the moment. All the units there are spent, and it's just got the anti-tank gun defending at the moment. The heavy machine gun that was here was laying down a ton of fire on this bunker to try and knock some of those surrounding Japanese off that were assaulting it, but it was highly unsuccessful before it got knocked out by the Japanese mortar fire. And that should be under there. So each of those units there is has damage. So both the Japanese units are damaged, and the anti-tank gun is damaged as well. So an intense firefight going on for that bunker there, which has a control marker on it. That's the situation. They've made a strong inroads across the river. Pretty much because of ineffective heavy machine gun fire from myself, ineffective mortar fire as well. The anti-tank gun over here did not get into action. The only unit on the board that didn't see any action. A very intense round. Taking a look at the score, the Japanese are currently on 3 victory points, and but they are on negative Bushido because although they got a number of units across the river which got their Bushido up, they then started acting individually, assaulting bunkers, which pushed their Bushido down for not acting as a group. Coming on next round, we've got these Marine units, 1, 2, 3, 4 Marine units, which is going to be very highly needed given the current situation, because coming up in round 3 and 4 we've got a ton of Japanese coming on. I've got a artillery strike coming in at the beginning of the next round, and it's coming in here, which is unless it drifts off in the correct direction, it's going to be pretty useless. So a very, very intense firefight first round. Yeah, the Marines are having to really work hard to survive this. Back with the next round, either tonight or later tomorrow. Thanks. Okay, it's the beginning of the second round. I thought I'd just show you quickly the state of the play after we've brought in our artillery strike. The field artillery was plotted for this hex here and took out a Japanese infantry unit that was here, fortunately. And but we've drawn a new card for the Marines, which is Experienced Sergeant. And the Japanese didn't draw a card because they're a negative Bushido. And yeah, so I'm just about to kick off second round. We've flipped all the units, and just looking at the situation for the Marines, it's desperate here where the command counter is, the control counter, with 2 Japanese units assaulting this bunker here with the damaged anti-tank gun in, and they're in a bunker. So I'm going to take the desperate measures of activating the Marine mortar unit, which is here, and I'm going to be bringing it down on this Marine occupied bunker with 2 Japanese units assaulting it. So the AT crew have called up and asked for everything to be brought down in their position. So here we go, we'll bring this mortar into action and lay it on the bunker. Keep our fingers crossed the Marines won't get hurt, but either way, if we don't do something, they're going to be annihilated anyway. Okay, back with you towards the end of the round. Okay, we're at the end of round 2, and unfortunately the Marines have not done a great job in looking after their numbers. They've taken a bit of a hammering, and accordingly the Japanese victory score has got up to 6. What the Marines have managed to do was retake this control marker. That was a bloody battle, and I actually haven't put the victory points in for that one, which is 1, so the Japanese victory actually goes down to 5. So looking at the battlefield here, the Marines brought their reserves on, and we're now occupying these positions here around the edge of this jungle. Here, a clear area. We had a assault go in against the damaged Japanese infantry in this hasty defense. The first assault by a fresh Marine unit came into here, and these guys activated, and even though they had diminished firepower with their suppressed counter, they managed to eliminate this Marine unit on the first go, rolling double 6s. This attack then came in, and they managed to get up to here and had enough for a close range assault, but they weren't able to knock out this Japanese unit, so they stalled there. And silly me, I forgot I had this Experienced Sergeant card, which I could have used had I maintained 1 action point or cap point to give them more caps, but I couldn't do it. So I was really hoping to take out that Japanese unit in this hasty defense here, which is the unit's damaged already. It wasn't to be. The Japanese managed to bring up their machine gun from here, and they got it nicely positioned here for the beginning of the next round. They're occupying this hasty defense marker here, so they've actually established a relatively strong bridgehead over the river, pending that whole truckload of infantry coming over in this round. So things are looking a bit dodgy for the Marines. They really gave it a good shot. They certainly weren't rolling anywhere near as good as the Japanese. I seem to activate these Marine units and they get low activation rolls. I'm using the 3-die option, and they're getting very poor AP points when I roll for them, and the Japanese seem to be getting quite high AP points. At least we managed to get this control marker back into our position, and we're in that bunker there. But I think it's going to be tough holding out this round with grenade discharges coming in. 2 of those, 3 grenade discharges, and 1, 2, looks like 4 infantry units coming on after them. That's going to be rough, and yeah, it's going to be a rough round coming up for the Marines because they don't have any reinforcements this round. They do the following round, and the following round after that they get some Stuart tanks. Okay, so let's see if we can hold out. So that's the end of round 2. I think unfortunately the honours went to the Japanese. Okay, it's the start of the 3rd round, and the Japanese have deployed their reserves 2 hexes away from the river, and you can see it's a massed amount of infantry and grenade launching infantry. They didn't stack to avoid getting hit by a mortar. Yeah, so they're poised to really sweep over and give those Marines a really hard time. What I did forget to do in that last round was reduce the Bushido points for every time the Japanese didn't activate as a group, and that was quite a number of times, so I've just adjusted that now. So the Japanese Bushido is very, very low. So yeah, that's the situation. I'm going to plot artillery now for the next round, and let's see, I'm going to plot artillery for a artillery strike right. Now that's dangerously close to my things here. I'm going to plot an artillery strike for this hex here, because I think these guys are going to be trying to use this area here to get round, possibly. A little bit risky, could swing by towards me, but we're in a decisive state. So it's going to go into here at the beginning of next round. As for the artillery strike at the beginning of the 3rd round, I had it plotted out here on the machine gunner who moved, so that was going to be a negative anyway. Okay, so I just thought I'd show you the beginning of the setup after the reserves have gone in for the Japanese at the start of the 3rd round. Our field artillery 105mm howitzers have zeroed in on the enemy at the beginning of round 3, and the Japanese milling on the eastern side of the river have taken a hammering, losing 1 infantry unit, and the rest have all taken a hits except for this one here. So a great start to that artillery, or the round 3 with that artillery strike. That's going to make it a lot easier this turn. Okay, it's the end of turn 3 and the meat grinder continues, and a meat grinder it is. Look at our Marine casualties. They are mounting up, as are the Japanese. The score at the end of round 3 is 6 to the Japanese, despite the good artillery strike at the beginning. Let's take a look at the situation map. So the Marines put up a good stiff fight, but their numbers of the Japanese overwhelmed them, and we've taken casualties all over the show. Our mortar unit here was taken out by their enemy mortar using an indirect spotter from over here somewhere, and this unit that was in this hasty defence marker was taken out by close combat. The bunker here held out, which means we actually score another victory point. We haven't added that one in yet because we retained control of that bunker, but a Japanese unit has come in close, failed to take that bunker out. It's now assaulted a Marine unit that's underneath that one there, and hurt that one badly. We've got a Japanese unit here that's cowering, but it's advancing on us, and we've got a Japanese unit in this hasty defence marker here. So they've swarmed across the river, other than these 3 units here, and have engaged us in some really close fighting and bunkers and foxholes and the like as well. Really grinding down stuff. So we're at the end of round 3, and We'll be heading into round 4 in just a moment, so I'll be plotting my artillery and looking at our reinforcements coming on. We've got a stack of Japanese coming on and a stack of Marines coming on. The Japanese will be coming on from the, let's check that, in round 4 they'll be coming on the third wave anywhere east of the river, 2 hexes away from the river. Okay, they'll be coming on this side of the river, 2 hexes away, with the control marker as well. And the Marines will be coming on, the 1st Battalion of the 1st Marines, a counterattack, may enter on round 4 along the southern edge on hexes B12 to R12. And that'll be along here. So we're going to have a very, very interesting firefight here. The Marines have got a lot of work cut out for them if they can pull this one back with that victory score. Let's adjust that now for the control of that bunker. So at the end of each round, score 1 VP for each control marker in US control. So that's still in US control, so we do get that down to 5. Let's draw our card for the Marines for this turn, and that is rapid deployment, costs 0 caps and APs, move a friendly unit 2 hexes over passable terrain. I still haven't used experienced sergeant yet. I'll probably be using it this turn as well. The aerial attack that comes in on, checking over here, during round 5 we can bring in the aerial attack with the F4F Wildcat, and I imagine by that time we'll certainly need it. The Japanese don't draw a card because of their negative Bushido. So yes, so that's the state of the play. I've got to say, this is really capturing the sense of jungle warfare, very much so. Good job, Academy Games. And on that note, I just saw the movie the other night, Hacksaw Ridge. Very good movie, highly recommended. If you haven't seen it, Pacific Combat. So it's good timing that I'm playing it with this game. Anyway, let's get into round 4. Okay, so I've been videoing this scenario so far over a couple of nights, hence the different lighting, and I was due to start the next round this morning, but something occurred last night that caused a bit of mayhem, and that was a very large earthquake that took place down the South Island of New Zealand, several hundred kilometres away. And I'm living in a 32-storey apartment building in Auckland, which is at the top of the country. And at 1:12 in the morning, it started shaking, and it was a major earthquake that hit New Zealand. And as a result, this building was shaking, and it was freaking scary. And I rushed for the cupboard here to get some clothes on. It was in the middle of the night, and this got mucked out. And so it drew this scenario to a halt, and yeah, so basically this earthquake has ended the scenario prematurely, so my apologies about that, but at the time it was like, if this keeps shaking and gets worse, then we've got a problem here. Fortunately it died away, but there's been hundreds of aftershocks in the country, and yes, we're several hundred kilometres away from the earthquake, and we felt it up here. That's how intense it was. So yeah, unfortunately we won't get to see the end of the scenario, but well, it certainly is the meat grinder, there's no doubt about that. It's intense jungle warfare, and recreated very, very well by Academy Games in this new edition of their series. So thanks for watching. Sorry for having it cut short, but the need to preserve life and limb came above preserving the game. So we'll catch you next time.